What's up, guys? This is Zarek with Underdogs of Addiction, and today's video, I'm talking about the stud defensive lineman for the no longer the Oakland Raiders, but the Las Vegas Raiders, Maxx Crosby. Now, of course, like, I'm a diehard Seahawks fan and stuff, so I don't know everyone around the league, but I always, for the last few years, I always could always notice Crosby. He's a huge, redheaded, tattooed up killer on the defensive line. But how he's actually got my attention wasn't so much about his field play, because I don't really watch the Raiders play that much, but it was watching him on podcast and seeing like his big, huge Alcohol Anonymous symbol on his throat and his AA chain, and I was like, man, I want to listen to this guy's story, because you can just tell. I mean, all the tattoos, everything, the fame, his open struggles with addiction that he talks about. I knew that he had a good story, and I would love, Max, if you ever watch this video, to actually sit down and interview you, because I think some of the people that have interviewed you, they haven't asked some of the questions that I might ask you. Me being a certified recovery and peer counseling coach, and went to rehab twice for a total of 11 months. Like, it's just a deeper understanding, and I would love to pick your brain. But I was watching an interview he did, and he talked about kind of what I would like to know more about. And he was talking about how when he was younger, his older brother was the star of the show. His older brother got all the women, the attention from his parents, and he kind of was just, in the background. And he's a redhead, he's a ginger, so he probably, he was talking about how he got teased for that, and he was a chubby kid, he was out of shape, and he talked about this gnawing insecurity inside, which you hear so often with a lot of people who struggle in addiction. And he talked about, when he was younger, it was food. And so many of us, we don't look at food as an addiction, but it's most certainly is an addiction. And it's a very hard one. But yeah, so Max was talking about that, and of course, he grew to be this huge, superstar defensive lineman. But like I talk about, in my series now, where I talk about these famous athletes or these famous musicians, I understand to some extent their psychology, because I was nearly a Division I football player, and I made my music career went really far as well, so I kind of got glimpses of what it's like to be a star. I was like a high school football star, and then a YouTube music star. And something that drives a lot of us who become stars is exactly that, stars. My drug in high school was being on stages in front of like my peers and recording, like performing my songs, and like crushing it on a Friday night football game, and like getting interviewed by the Olympian. Like, that was like the biggest rush for me. And so with a lot of these athletes, especially like a guy like Maxx Crosby, he has the natural God-given gift, and then he drives himself even harder to become the greatest, that he can be, to help fulfill that hole inside of him. And it's clearly what he talks about. And of course, becoming like this famous person, all the alcohol and drugs are thrown at you, and he talks about how, like, people are like, dude, you just had an amazing rookie year, like, your life's great. But he was talking about how, like, he was really struggling, and he was depressed, and he went on like 2 week-long benders back at his old college, and like missed a game, or almost missed a game, and realized he needed to change. And he mentioned, just having overall just gratitude for sobriety in life, because he's now able to be who he is, and just he's had amazing last 3 years. And I mean, he's younger than me. He's only 25 or 26, I think. So it's really cool to see stories like that, because it's so easy in that spotlight to fall. You've seen it with Michael Irvin, you've seen it with Darryl Strawberry, Tiger Woods. Who didn't study that situation? So shout out to Maxx Crosby. And Maxx Crosby is definitely an underdog of addiction. you know, his whole story. If you study his story, you know, he went to a smaller college. He's a white guy with red hair, tatted up. You know, he's probably definitely been doubted most of his life. He used to be a fat kid, and he's definitely, you know, part of this Underdogs of Addiction family. So shout out to Maxx. Let's get you on the show. When there is a show, let's get you on the YouTube, man. I'd love to pick your brain and hear more from you about your story in depth. So thank you guys for watching. Peace out.